Hi everyone, my name is Ryan. Welcome to the first episode on my tower. So, lately I've been seeing quite a few players upload their content on YouTube regarding their tower progression, and they have received very valuable feedback from our tightly knit community. And so I thought this would be a fun opportunity for me to share mine as well. So let's get into it. So, I guess we can start off with the stats. I started this game relatively early on, back in December 2021. As far as I know, I haven't seen anyone who had started in 2021, but by no means am I very far along in this game. So as you can see, my lifetime coins is 175Q, stones earned 68,000. I'm not free to play, by the way. I think I would have spent, I don't know, about 20,000 of these stones would have been purchased probably. And as you can see, the main factor that's holding me back at this stage is mainly the research completed. For someone who started when I started, I should have gotten something along the lines of 2,000 plus research completed, but mine is relatively low. And the reason for that is just that I took about a year, slightly over a year off from this game, just because life was a bit too hectic back then. So moving on to the wave details, this is my current progression. I'm currently farming tier 12. It's giving me about the same amount of coins as tier 11, and I've recently switched to a glass cannon build. So I think tier 12 is good for me at the moment. And I would like to eventually build it up to, I guess, tier 14 or so for the higher sell drops. But it's, I'm obtaining around the same amount of coins for 2,000 waves less. So I guess with 7,000-ish waves in tier 12, that's about 8 hours a run. I get to do 3 runs, which nets me more coin overall than doing, say, 2 tier 11 runs every day. Right, on to the labs. So I think I'm currently able to sustain 2 masteries, barely, but that's why I'm doing my coin mastery at the moment, just to get the possibility of, I guess, running maybe 3 masteries at the same time in future. I'm also starting work on damage labs and crit factor labs, which I haven't touched for a very long time. I think when I stopped playing the game back then, it was at level 50, and I've only recently managed to start dabbling in them again. For my last lab, it's the coins per queue. I'm just going to max this out and get it out of the way. So looking at my overall research progression, it's pretty standard. I would like to get a couple of levels into my lab coin discount at some point, so maybe I'll favorite this for now. The rest of my basic main researches are all done. So now looking at the attack labs, as you can tell, my attack labs are quite lacking, mainly because I used to focus on an EHP build. So let me star my damage labs, my attack speed labs, and my crit factor lab. At some point, I guess I would get super crit chance and super crit multiplier, but for now that seems like it's not a main priority for me at the moment. Now, on to defense labs. I did say I focused on defense labs, but as you can tell, it's really not much. My health labs were at level 56. Previously, I think I didn't used to do any health labs at all, so I had to bring it up to level 56 level 55, I guess, when I did the EHP build. I put a couple of levels into health regen. Defense percent is nowhere at 23% as well, and it's pretty underdeveloped labs overall. I would like to get some labs into shockwave size, because my range now is slightly beyond 69.5 meters, so I'm not really getting the full effect of one of my modules, which we'll see later. And as you can tell, it's very underdeveloped, but now that I'm transitioning into the glass cannon meta, I guess I'm lucky in the sense that I don't have to complete all of these labs. Maybe it would be something I would look at again down the line. Moving on to utility research. So no way I'm going to max out my cash bonus anytime soon, especially now that I'm running with free upgrades, but coins per kill definitely, so let's favorite that. Max interest, no, I'm not going to touch that. Recovery package max level, now unless EHP comes back into the meta down the line, I'm probably not going to touch that as well. And same goes for recovery package amount. So I think where my tower is mostly lacking is in terms of ultimate weapons research. So for my smart missile labs, I've already completed the required labs. Now, chronofield duration, this was the main reason that got me to stop playing the game. Back in the day, I think for those of you who have played for about 2 years or more, you would be very familiar with this. We had to manually select the lab every time it ended, and it was always at ×1 speed. So this lab used to be like a 6-month lab. I did it for a couple of months and I was like, oh no, I'm not going to touch this anymore, and this really turned me off from the game. It's so bad that ever since I had started playing the game again, and in today's context, 21 days running at 4 times speed is not much at all. I refuse to complete this lab just yet, but I think at some point I would probably have to get it done, just when the PTSD goes away or something. Now my poison swarm labs, I would like to get the swarm radius and stuns at some point. Currently my labs, I guess I should probably focus them on something else, because I have a very underdeveloped poison swamp. Shock chance for chain lightning, I think this is something that I would want more percentage chance in future, so I'm going to start these at the moment. And inner mine rotation speed, at some point I'm probably going to get this up as well. Just complete this lab. The blast radius, I'm not too worried about it. At the end of the day, the inner landmine to me would probably just be used for stunning bosses. Chronofield range, for now I'm happy with it. It might come to a point where I might need a larger range down the line, but as of now I don't see any benefit of increasing this lab beyond what I already have. So my smart missile labs, yeah, I've completed all of them. Missile barrage, there is that thing that you can buy with keys that allows your smart missiles to shoot out, but maybe I would get back to this lab down the line, just not anytime soon. Now, lightning amplified scatter labs are actually really useful for me, and I think anyone who is using an EHP build, you would get to a point where at some point scatter enemies are the ones that break your wall and then you just die immediately after that. Investing a bit of stones into chain lightning and then investing a couple of levels into this lab really helps a lot. And currently, even though my lab is level 10 out of 30, it's managing to kill a lot of scatter enemies way before they even come into my tower line. So if you're struggling with scatter enemies, I would strongly suggest that you get this lab. I guess at some point I should get missile barrage, and maybe death with damage amplifier, but I'm nowhere near that level of progression, so maybe that would be a problem for future me. In terms of the cards research, there's quite a bit that I have to do now. So super tower bonus, I have to get this done at some point. It's not really a priority for me at the moment, even though I'm working on super tower mastery, because I think the overall benefit from, say, raising 10 levels into damage is going to outweigh the benefit of just one level in super tower super tower bonus, and they take about the same time for me. So maybe when my damage labs are a bit more progressed, I might return to that lab. Recharging second wind, maybe I might do it in future. Demon mode is already maxed out. And so for my other labs, oh right, for nuke, I need to get this at some point. I think I have enough keys now to automate my nukes, so probably one of the next masteries I might want to consider would be the nuke mastery. At some point I would have to get damage mastery and demon mode mastery. I've kept them at the same level, so I will probably just raise these two cards at the same time. But before I get there, my current plan would be to alternate between enemy balance and coins until my enemy balance is max, then max my coins before I start working on the other two damage labs. Right, so I have this free upgrades mastery card over here. For those of you who run a devil build, you know, I tried devil for a bit, but it was really time consuming having to micro your damage and so on. So what I ended up doing was I purchased this card, and I ended up locking range, orbs, and landmine chance, and that allowed me to run basically the devil strategy without with free upgrades. Now, the main drawback of using that strategy is that in the mid part of the game, after my death wave wall breaks, it sort of makes, because my attack speed would have been leveled up by then, I sort of kill enemies a bit too quickly. So for the middle part of the run, for about 1,000 waves or so, I'm killing enemies too quickly, just with my bullets. Even if I were to switch off my smart missiles and switch off my chain lightning, the bullets will kill the enemies a bit too quickly. But at some point, the enemies, you know, their health goes up significantly, and you're not able to kill them anymore. And so for the quality of life improvement, I felt that this was a pretty nice purchase that I got, and I think it was just along the lines of 500 stones. Wave Accelerator Mastery, I would need to get this done at some point before I start doing tier 14, and also in line with that, the Intro Sprint Mastery, which I have yet to purchase. Okay, so let me start my Super Tower Mastery as well. In terms of my perks, I think more or less I'm done with it. I would like to max out my band perks to level 8, but it's not a priority for me at the moment just because the lag time is so long. And for the most part, I'm able to run the strategy that I need with the current bands that I have. Auto pick ranking, I might want to get this up to level 12 or 13. Currently my auto picks are a bit lacking, but again, when I have time and I'm done with masteries, I would go back to revisit this thing. For my bots, I'm done with my golden bot cooldown, but my golden bot duration still requires another 4 levels. So at some point that has to be done, probably after my coins per kill is maxed out. And I would also have to max out my amplified bot labs. For enemies portion, the only lab that I have touched was fast enemy speed, and this was because in the tournaments, the fast ultimate thing is really the thing that destroys my game. So even when I slow the speed down, I'm just, maybe because of a slow attack speed or something, I'm not able to kill the enemies fast enough and I take chip damage. And so I die really quickly once the enemy speed go past a certain level. So I've been working on this lab. It's actually been extremely helpful. So if you're struggling with that same battle condition, you might want to consider raising this lab up a little bit. Now, I eventually want to max out this lab, and we'll see when I get to that point. But having just 14 levels into this has already helped my tournament performance, and it's quite a noticeable difference. I think I managed to get, must have been at least 100 or 200 waves more in tournament progress just from this lab alone. At some point, I guess I would need to work on boss health labs, but there's so much more to upgrade at the moment. For modules, I don't think I'll be touching any of the module coin cost anytime soon. I don't have an issue with coins for my module levels just yet, but maybe towards the end I heard it's quite expensive, so I might touch this eventually, just not anytime soon. And I did one ban on core effects. To be honest, I don't see the difference. It still takes a lot of stones, and I think I might just be better off, getting the cash mastery at some point, just to boost the number of reroll stones that I have, and take it from there instead of spending or dedicating a lab specifically to just getting this bans done. But we'll see how the patch changes in future. There was something that I forgot to mention. So for one of the card masteries, I hadn't really completed it. Recovery package mastery. Now, if anyone is struggling with module levels, I would strongly recommend this card mastery. I think it took me 2.5 or 3 weeks to get from level 130 in my modules to 161, just from this mastery alone. And it's extremely powerful, especially when you combine it with the Shatter Shards lab. And I'm not saying that I got this at 4% straight away. I just got it and I was leveling it up. At the same time, I was doing the module shard reduction lab, and that took me all the way from 130 to 161 in the span of 2 or 3 weeks, probably 3 weeks thereabouts. Right, and so speaking of modules, we can have a look at my modules. So these are my current module levels. For the canon modules, it's really whatever. I would like to roll for ancestral crit factor over here and maybe some attack speed, but not a main priority for me at the moment. As you can see, my reroll shots are really low at the moment, and mostly just because of this multiverse nexus over here. For some reason, this +3 death wave quantity roll, I must have spent something along the lines of 2.5 to 3 million just to get this sub module effect on here. And I would like to get some golden tower bonus going on over here, but probably I would wait till my reroll shots goes up sufficiently first. I also use a galaxy compressor. Again, this thing is, it's killing me. I would like to get this at the green one, the ancestral one, but I just can't get it. So again, I'm not going to bother about it for the time being. Oh, and I actually get to level up. Right, so it's 210 trillion, which might seem like a large amount, but for a run I'm making 2 point something quintillion. It's probably quadrillion, and it's probably not going to be worthwhile for me to consider dedicating a lab at the moment to just reduce the coin cost for modules. At some point I can start on that lab, and probably it would give me some return on the coins that I have then. Although now that I say it, and my coins drop from 900 T to 700 P, it seems a bit painful, hey? But yeah, I'm not going to touch that lab for a while. Now this is my anti-cube portal. It's the one that benefits from shockwave. So I do need to get my shockwave size a bit larger. I would like to get an ancestral wall rebuild for this slot over here, and potentially the one that reduces the shockwave cooldown for the final slot. I think the 2 orbs I might be able to do without it, but since I've rolled it, I might as well just keep it for the time being. Right, so for tournament modules, I use the dimension core. So let me equip this. So this is my current dimension core. Somehow I got this 4 seconds black hole duration. I'm not going to reroll it out just yet until my reroll shots gets a bit better in terms, or I get a bit more reroll shots. But I would ideally like either more smart missile quantity or more chain lightning quantity or chance for this last 2 slots over here. The spotlight bonus is actually pretty nice. It's, I think, with the super tower mastery, I get something along the lines of 200 times spotlight bonus in tournaments when I put on this module. So I think I'm going to be keeping this sub module effect for the time being. For this particular module, just rolling the 15 degree spotlight angle, I think it took me like 100,000 reroll shots, and this was the first effect that I was rolling for, so I was only rolling for this one effect. It took me like 100,000. I don't know what's wrong with this game. There should be a much easier way to go about this thing, upgrading these modules or rolling on these modules. And my other cannon effect would be, let me swap this back first. My other cannon module would be the death penalty. So for tournaments, I actually have to run it on extra attack speed because my attack speed lab is underdeveloped, and at some point when I get attack speed mastery, I'm not sure if I want to keep this. Probably by then the attack speed would be sufficient. So for this one, I would like ancestral super crit chance and also an ancestral crit factor. For the last one, I don't really care what it is. I've heard multi-shot is good, but yeah, it's not going to really matter too much. It's mostly, so when we roll these stats, I think it's mostly just for the ultimate weapon crit card, which allows our ultimate weapons to do most of the damage when we are in the game. As you can see, my modules are also relatively underdeveloped. Basically what I did was I just I just started purchasing modules until I got my galaxy compressor at Ancestral and Multiverse Nexus at Ancestral. After that, I decided to stop. I should probably get them to 5-star, but since the new version is coming out, I guess this would be a good time to save the gems and have a look at where I can spend them in the new update. To the stats and bots then. So starting with the stats, it's really nothing much to say for. For damage labs, I've just basically upgraded everything except Ren Armor Chance and Ren Armor Multiplier. I run Havoc Bringer in my farm runs, but you know, bullet damage is really very low, so I really can't be bothered to sink some coins into this. Oh, it's 1.5 and 3.43 trillion. Well, I might just well just put 100 labs, 100 upgrades into each of them. And as you can see, the price goes up really high, but really it doesn't make any difference. So now I kind of regret doing it. Well, anyway, for my health workshops, right, I think I had to do a respec recently, and I got tired of clicking on leveling my health up to, I think it was like 5800. So you know, I'm just going to leave it at whatever these values are. 1100 for health and health regen, defense absolute 0. At some point I might just max this 2 out, but as you can tell, coins are a bit tight at the moment. I have landmine chance at 0, and I run the free upgrade card, which locks this particular slot up. So if I were to go to my farm run set of cards, you can see that this landmine chance is locked up. Just at the start, before my death with wall bricks, I find that helps gain me a little bit more coins, but really it's, you know, 1 or 2 trillion difference over the course of a run, I think. So if you don't do that, I don't think it really makes a big difference. Landmine damage, I would like to max it out. It's just the last 10 levels cost 1.8 Q. At some point when I'm starting to, you know, have nowhere to spend my coins, I might just put the last 10 levels into it. Wall health, also I was thinking if I should max it out. I should be able to max it out quite easily, but you know, there's no real need for it, because even if I were to run max health at tier 12, after wave 4000 or so, everything is just going to one-shot the wall anyway. So finally, for utility upgrades, again, I've this at 305. There's no real point in me doing enemy attack level skips at this stage, because I'm not running EHP builds. So maybe in the next respec I might just take all the points out of this, but it doesn't really matter at this stage. I've also locked this particular option for free upgrades so that I don't get them, and that allows all my free upgrades to go solely into enemy health level skips, which I currently have at 440. At some point I would like to get this to about 500 or so, but currently with the strategy that I'm running, I get this maxed out around wave 260 or something, I would like to say. Now in terms of my enhancements tabs, as you can see, I haven't really invested much in damage tabs, but I should do that at some point. I guess the point being now. Okay, and I've recently started to add some into damage per meter. Really doesn't matter at this stage until I start getting Spotlight Plus, I guess. Health enhancements, there's nothing over here. At some point when I get the extra orc mastery, I might pump some points, some coins over here, just so that I can get a larger orb size, but that's somewhere down the line. For my enhancement tab on utility, these are the current levels that I have. When they fix enemy level skips eventually, I would probably sync this probably at 1.2 or something, and leave it there for a time being. I would like to get more into coins and cells, just so that I can put more labs at level 5 times 5 speed, and coins are always good. So these are the cards that I have. I think I would just scroll through these things. So I'm currently running 23 labs. There's one lab missing over here, sorry, one slot missing over here, and one slot from the keys. I'm not sure if I want to get them, to be honest, because there's not many other cards that I will need to put in for the current strategy that I have. Well, that may change, but unless I find a very compelling reason to spend this 8,500 gems, I'm probably going to avoid this for a while. So for my masteries, I run damage mastery, coin and enemy balance mastery. Enemy balance mastery is awesome, to be honest. It makes your run shorter but gives you more elites, and overall that leads to larger or more cells. I think before I entered into this mastery, where is it at? It's at level 7 currently. So before I got this mastery, I was running something like 400-ish thousand cells per day, which was just enough to get all 5 labs at level 4. And now that I've got this at level 7, it's I'm getting about 700,000 cells a day. So I get to run 1 lab at 5 times, and every other day 2 labs at 5 times. Yeah, nothing much to say about this. Recovery package chance mastery, as I mentioned, was amazing. For anyone who's lacking in their module levels, this thing just takes you up there really quickly. For my next mastery, I am probably going to go for the intro sprint mastery, just because if I were to max this out, it gives me 1,800 waves into the run really quickly, and the first 1,800 waves you don't really earn anything. It's about, for me, about 100 trillion. So I think getting that out of the way very quickly, and coupled with wave accelerator where I get larger wave spawns, is going to help boost my coin income significantly. And for context, 1,800 waves on my device is probably something like 2.5 hours. So if I run three runs a day, that's 7.5 hours, which means I could potentially get 4 runs in a day once I have maxed this intro sprint mastery. So that's definitely something I'm looking forward to. I'm not going to buy it immediately. I'm probably going to work on the existing labs that I have for a bit, and maybe when damage and demon mode are somewhere level 7 or so, that's when I would consider buying this new card. Right, so 15 gems already. So now moving into the vault, I have only started work on the harmony tree, and basically I just went all the way up. I got 3 of the 4 extra card slots. I just haven't gotten this 5 gem stack thing. I think this is something I would want to get before I get the nuke automation, because I don't have nuke mastery, and I tend to not look at my phone for hours on end. So having it stacked to 25 gems instead of 15 gems, which I currently have, is I guess going to be a net gem increase for me. Quite a significant net gem increase for me. These one over here, I honestly don't care about it. There is that thing where you get that quality of life improvement where you no longer have to merge modules, but just in the normal course of farming, we should be able to get all the rare modules that we need to merge anyway. Now in terms of the power tree, I haven't done anything about it yet. I still haven't thought about where I would like to go. So I can't really comment anything about this, but it would be a couple of weeks more before I actually have to look at the power tree. Right, so on to the bots. So what is this week's one? Oh, okay, health regen and taunts. Taunts is pretty good, I guess. Just because the taunts percentage, you know, when even if you are running a damage build, you might have to rely on more taunts to kill the boss towards the end of the run. So for the events portion, my golden bot is fully maxed out, just lacking that 4 levels in duration. I should get it done at some point, but currently most of my medals are just going into amplified bot. I think I used to purchase quite a bit of these currencies. I still do, as you can see for my stones over here. I purchased 15 stones for 40 medals. I know it's not efficient, but I was just lacking in a couple of stones to get an upgrade in my chronophil earlier this week, so I decided to just spend that 40 medals anyway. But you know, it's not efficient. Don't do it if you don't want to do it. But you know, I think it's fine for me, so I'm just going to go ahead with it. Right, finally, I think ultimate weapons, that's the last thing that I had to consider. So these are my ultimate weapons. Looking at chain lightning and smart missiles, you can see that I've kept the stones the same over here. That was a mistake. The chain lightning upgrades are so cheap. Don't do what I did, because nowadays when I turn on chain lightning, because of the damage differential, it's just gonna kill everything on screen, and it results in a net coin drop for me when I'm doing my farm runs. To compensate for that, I've actually got to keep my chain lightning chance rather low, which is not ideal, because when you get the armored battle condition, you actually want a lot of chain lightning procs. But I can't really get my chain lightning chance too high, because then it would kill all the enemies on my screen for too long, and it results in a very low coin gain. So for my next steps, what I actually have to do at some point would be to increase my smart missile quantity and increase my smart missile damage to the point where I get, you know, maybe 1,500 or something multiplier on my damage for smart missiles. So that way, with the 2 times chain lightning bonus perk that we get in runs, they work out to be approximately the same damage. That means that I can run spotlight missiles and smart missiles for much longer because of the higher multiplier. And at some point, when I do have to rely on chain lightning damage for the shock, it is going to be roughly on par with my smart missile damage, so turning it on at a later wave is not going to instantly kill all the enemies on screen. Death wave damage at this stage, I don't think it's important. I put a couple of levels into it when I was doing EHP farming. To be honest, if you wanted to skip EHP farming and just go straight into glass cannon, it is, in my opinion, a lot more fun and more accessible nowadays. So if you're just starting out or something and you wanted to try a glass cannon build all the way, I would say, you know, don't be shy about it. Go ahead with it. Most of the guides out there tend to focus on going EHP in the mid game, but I think in the current meta, it's probably okay to just run EHP, to run glass cannon right at the start all the way. So recently my stones have mostly been going into upgrading my chronophil. I've gotten my speed reduction maxed out. So with the dimension core 15% additional slow, I get 90% speed reduction in tournaments. I think that was quite beneficial for me. but I've only had one tournament to test it out, so I'm not sure. I've also put a couple of levels into Chrono Loop. I think I would get this to level 5 or level 6 before I move back to working on my Golden Tower duration, which I would like to get somewhere in the 70s, and also increasing my black hole size. I think I should max this out. I should also increase my spotlight angle. Maybe 70 to 75 degrees would be a good point for me at the moment. So I guess what I can do after I've gotten my Chrono Loop levels up would be to alternate between Golden Tower duration and spotlight angle, and hopefully that would give me larger coverage for more coin gains, and coupled with the golden combo or larger golden combos, which would overall help my economy more. I'm not too worried about having a non-maxed out black hole size, just because Chrono Loop helps take care of the dead zones. So what I mean by that is, let's say if I were to start a battle now, we just have to give it a while for Chain Lightning to start. For my Death Wave to come out. Right, so as you can see, when my black holes come out over here, there's a gap in between the two holes, and you don't really want that gap because there's no black hole coverage there. But with the Chrono Loop upgrade, your mobs actually get pulled in towards the black hole, and so with fast enough speeds, you should be able to mitigate some of the, or at least I should be able to mitigate some of the negatives of having a smaller black hole. And finally, I guess we can look at my past tournament performance. Honestly, I'm not very good at the tournaments, but I'm glad to see that the overall levels that I'm able to clear have been steadily increasing. This, I guess, is probably due to a combination of a larger, a more effective chrono field, as well as the damage and demon mode masteries overall stacking me to higher damage, so I'm able to clear at higher waves. It's ideally I would like to hover somewhere around position 5, position 6 in every tournament, but it's really brutal in tournaments at Legends, so it's really dependent on the bracket that I'm placed with. Right, so I think that is all the content that I have at the moment. This is my in-game name. In case you see me in the same bracket as you, please be lenient to me. Otherwise, it was a pleasure doing my first video with all of you. I hope you enjoy the content. If you like it, please leave a comment or like or subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much, and I will see you guys in the next update.